All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. Is that about Benny said that Tucker Carlson drops Trump assassination bombshell, and Tucker Carlson himself said that it was Joe Biden. It was his doing, because if y'all see my video I did 2 days ago, they said that Josh Shapiro and Joe Biden had something to do with President Trump almost getting assassinated in Butler. And they did not want it to come out, was the reason why they was going so hard on Donald Trump. That's why you got Hillary Clinton calling him Hitler, calling him a threat to democracy. The reason why Kamala Harris ran with this, trying to scare the American people into not voting for Donald Trump. That's why they did not want him to win. They did not want this news to come out that Josh Shapiro and Joe Biden had something to do with President Trump almost losing his life in Butler. So, I mean, it's just bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. So more news is coming out, but we about to check this out about Tucker Carlson saying that it was Joe Biden. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. I really, really appreciate it. Let me all know in the comment section who all stayed to the end, because it definitely helps get the video out there. And without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. And let's go.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. The news cycle has the lifespan of a gnat. It's neck snapping, just trying to keep up. It's hard to remember what we've been through even like 6 months ago on the presidential campaign, where the man who's the most famous man walking the earth today, the man who was leading all the polls, the person who would win the presidency in a landslide, the rightful new commander-in-chief, stood in the middle of a field with 0 people protecting him, and some dingy, dopey, skinny, pasty Antifa member with zits on his face was able to crawl on a rooftop and shoot 8 bullets at him, piercing his skull. The ear is connected to his head, so it's a headshot here, and killing a member of Donald Trump's political movement.
That's what they tried to do.
This all happened, and we still don't have any answers.
Nope.
We have some people who have come forward saying, well, the Secret Service sure as hell seemed like they wanted Trump to die.
Get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that that was probably a pivotal point.
So wait a second. You're telling me, this is the local law enforcement, that the Secret Service just skipped out on their protection meetings for Trump, which is their only job, actually, is to
And that's the reason why I'm so glad that Donald Trump, he took all of Joe Biden protection that he had around him. Because remember when Joe Biden first got in office in 2021, remember he took Donald Trump's, you know what I'm saying, protection and stuff. So Donald Trump did the same thing to him. Like, these people are crazy, man. So now we find out that Joe Biden had something to do with this, which all of us could believe. The reason why they was pushing so hard. They was pushing so hard is Hitler. I mean, comparing Donald Trump to some of the most worst people in the world and comparing them to him to try to scare the American people. And 77 million people didn't fall for their crap. Didn't fall for it.
Inform their law enforcement partners how to protect Trump. They just ditched. They left him on red.
Where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
No communication.
You had no communication with the Secret Service at all on that Saturday?
Not until after the shooting.
Wow.
And by then?
It was too late.
Not until after the shooting.
After the
what
shooting?
exactly happened after the shooting? Let's check the body cam footage.
Did he have a weapon? Is he?
That was the report.
I thought you were on the roof. I thought it was you. I thought you guys were on the roof. Why were we not on the roof? Why weren't we? I'd say this is a up.
Sorry, not sure which gas company.
Look at this. This is a member of the Secret Service here, probably the agent in charge, using the politically correct term in air quotes for shooter. Don't want to offend the dead guy.
A shooter? Did he have a weapon?
You don't want to offend the dead Joe Biden donor who was able to get 8 shots off President Trump.
And that's the thing. He was a Joe Biden donor. Exactly. The reason why now you see how it's starting to connect, but this is the stuff that the Democrats was trying to hide from us. Like I said for the 3rd time, they don't want this to come out. They didn't want anybody, you know what I'm saying, to be talking about that. The reason why they was trying to keep a lot of us, whatever the word they like to say, like on mute. Didn't want us talking about it.
It's times like these where we have to rush for understanding to people who really have deep knowledge of this subject matter, because it's so confusing, it's bewildering, hurts the brain. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Bongino, who is a former Secret Service agent who cares greatly about the protection of President Trump and his country, said effectively that this is something that had to have been pre-planned. The incompetence borders on malevolence. This is something we've asked on this program many, many times. Was it incompetence or was it malevolence? Did they want Trump to get shot, or was it just stupidity? At some point, it's indistinguishable, which is what Bongino says here. The Secret Service was making decisions that may not be political, but have a political tinge to them. They were deciding not to protect Trump because they wanted Trump to die.
Yep, that's what they wanted.
I'll fill in the gaps here for Bongino, since I didn't work there. Bongino has, on multiple occasions, said the Secret Service effectively rigged the event in order to harm President Trump.
A campaign banner and block the line of sight for the guy with the biggest footprint in the world? So again, why didn't they block the line of sight? And second, why was he on the X anyway? The X is what we call in the Secret Service where the protector is standing. If you're in a limo and a limo gets hit, the golden rule is you get him off the X.
Right.
Why was he even on the X? Cover, evacuate, or don't even bring him to the stage. There is no excuse for this. There should be mass resignations. People should be criminally investigated for what happened here.
Again, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing else was done.
They want you to forget. This is why, of course, I believe there should be a national monument to President Trump's assassination attempt.
Yeah.
They want you to forget this moment.
That's what they want.
Somebody who has better sources.
And then if y'all notice something, remember the Democrats got mad because Donald Trump kept bringing it up in his rally. Like, oh, why Donald Trump keep talking about him getting shot? Why not talk about it? Y'all try to get this man killed and he survived. Y'all try to get this man killed twice and you don't want him to talk about it? These people are sick. They are sick people. A lot of those Democrats was mad that Donald Trump didn't get shot in the head. They wanted this man to get shot in the head. They was on TV saying, oh, I wish he would have got shot in the head. I wish he would have this. They wanted this man to die that bad so they can remain in power. This is how delusional, this is how wrong these folks are. They don't care about the American people. The Democrats only care about themselves. They only care about themselves. They don't care about us. They just want to remain in power. That's why they don't want Donald Trump releasing the Epstein list. They don't want none of that stuff coming out. That's why they tried to do everything to this man, and it didn't work. Try to put him in prison. Almost got him assassinated twice, comparing him to some of the worst people that you can ever compare anybody to. They tried everything. Corrupt judges, Judge Marchand, trying to get him thrown in prison. Like, these people tried everything to stop this man.
Federal government than any human being alive, I would argue, is Tucker Carlson, who was recently in the Oval Office palling around with Trump and Elon, who, of course, knows everybody in this administration and has some pretty premier access to what's truly happening in your federal government. This is what makes Tucker's content so compelling. If you actually study the evidence as we have, we went to Butler and did the first documentary on the failings at Butler, you can see that this is obviously empirically true. Tucker Carlson going off on the next assassination of Donald Trump, and a reminder that Tucker Carlson predicted that Trump was going to be assassinated. He did it many times.
He did.
Listen to people who got these things right. Here we go.
I actually thought what happened at the golf course a few weeks later was even worse in this sense. This is a few weeks after he's actually been shot.
Yes.
He's playing at his own golf course where he regularly plays at weekends when he's in Florida. And he was 5 minutes away of walking up to a green where if one Secret Service agent who happened to walk ahead had not seen the barrel of a rifle poking out of a bush, that guy had a loaded AK-47, he had body armor, he was ready to go. Trump would be dead. And that would have been, I think, the biggest scandal ever, because that was just weeks after he'd already survived an assassination. But no one makes much of a fuss about that either.
How many members of Congress did that guy meet with? A lot. He was in Ukraine, which is controlled by the U.S. intel services. I mean, that's just a fact. He was in Ukraine, which is a kind of wellspring of lunacy. Sorry, I know you support it, but It's done more to destabilize the West than anything that's happened in my lifetime. And the amount of evil that has emanated from that country, the amount of assassinations that have come from Ukraine, I happen to know, is very high. And so this guy's in Ukraine and having contact. Well, how many members of Congress did he meet with, and what do they talk about? This is an assassin. No, we don't know. So, and we don't know.
And remember, they still haven't told us what the guy phone said. They haven't told us anything. Christopher Wray, all these people are corrupt. They didn't want any of this out. Where's the guy phone? How do we find out who he was talking to? Who sent him? He had a few phones with him, and they still ain't broke into the phone to see who this guy was communicating with. They are trying to hide this crap. And I'm so glad that President Trump in office, because we finna get down to the bottom of it and find out who really sent this man, where he came from, who paid him, whatever the case may be. We're going to find out that.
Media, fascinating. The mainstream media, when was the last big piece you read about either assassination? And yet if that had been an attempt on Obama, on Biden, on Harris, on anyone on the Democrat side, they wouldn't stop talking about it.
Because everybody knows what this is. These are not lone gunmen any more than, Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone gunman. The lone gunman killed by a lone gunman 2 days later. Okay now. I mean, it's just happened. It's so horrifying that clearly both of these guys were agents of the permanent government in Washington or globally. And there's like no honest person who could deny that. It's just so obvious.
So we've now learned about 4 or 5 assassination attempts of Donald Trump. A new one just dropped this weekend where we learned that an unauthorized drone was following President Trump's motorcade, had to be shot down by the Secret Service in Pennsylvania. What will be the next assassination attempt? Here's Tucker.
And I think that people don't want to wrestle with that because it's incredibly disturbing. And I think it's also possible that people in the Trump administration don't want to deal with it. I mean, they're still guarded by the Secret Service.
Yeah.
And whatever elements tried to murder Trump are still in the positions they occupied.
I mean, I watched him the other day walking through a Las Vegas casino. And everyone was like, isn't that great? And I was like, wow, really? They're letting the president walk through an open casino with endless amounts of people milling around. I think you can carry guns in Vegas, I think, can you? It seemed to me a very high-risk environment to put a guy who literally just survived 2 assassination attempts.
Is it 2? I mean...
Well, there are more, I think, aren't there?
I mean...
But we don't know about. I don't think that Trump doesn't want people to know about
exactly.
probably the reality.
I think what you're saying is true. So I think it's even more extraordinary than you're saying, actually, or than we really know.
Do you worry about him staying alive, literally?
No. Because I think that if you're going to lead, you have to be willing to risk your life. I mean, obviously, I mean, of course, I love Trump personally, so it's like, no, I mean, I can't imagine a few things worse than Trump being harmed. And so I don't want to be cavalier about that, but I also think as a factual matter, you cannot lead anything, including your own family, unless you're willing to lay down your life for it. I've always thought that. I mean, that is what it is to be a leader. I'm putting other people before myself. It doesn't mean that you take senseless risks, of course, but it does mean that you have a measure of physical courage, and Trump is displaying that a lot, and I think it's essential. I think it's absolutely essential, and you'll hear people say, well, I'll never take any risk. No. You want to lead, you have to. That's what the job is taking risks.
The difference between us and the animals is that we don't want any president ever to be assassinated. There were plenty of people that were upset that Donald Trump by a millimeter missed death. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment for us to fix these institutions, especially the Secret Service, and ensure that this never happens to any president again. Rise above the orcs, rise above the animals, do the actual hard work. We don't want this to ever happen to any American. We want every American to live in peace, even if we disagree with them.
All right, salute to Benny. Make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. Let Benny Johnson know that Adogg sent you. And I definitely had to bring y'all this. Like I said, a lot of us pretty much know it was Joe Biden. He set all of this up. Like I said, we gonna find out as more information comes. But Tucker Carlson been calling this for the longest. He's been calling this for the longest, and that's the reason why I said in my last video, you kind of seen that they were talking about that Joe Biden and Josh Shapiro had something to do with that shooter trying to take out President Trump in Butler. Now, I don't know if they had anything to do with the other one, when he was at the golf course. We don't know anything about that just yet, but it wouldn't shock me if they had something to do with that as well. But they said they definitely had something to do with the one in Butler. So, and then they try to act like they really cared after he got shot. It was just all crazy and all wrong. They thought we was gonna fall for it. This is just mind-blowing to me, man. This is just crazy. I'm going to continue to bring y'all the information as more information comes out. Like I said, let me know in the comment section who all made it to the end. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.